Okay, this is a DSP-256 display. I'm going to plug in the power, and the power connector is right here. And on this thing are several other connectors. This is RX422 for serial data in, TX422 for serial data out, RSSR, which is remote button input. Then I have two other serial jacks that are similar, but they use RJ11 phone cord. The first thing I want to do is I want to connect a keypad, and this does next, previous, and reset. And I'm going to plug it into the back of the keypad and plug this into the RSSR input, because these are buttons. Now I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to press the next button to increment the count, previous button to decrement the count, and the reset button to set the count to 0. So I'm using this as a counter right now to increment, decrement, and reset. Okay, I'm going to disconnect this, and I have another keypad here, and I have an RJ11 phone jack connected to it. Okay, here's my wiring diagram, and this phone jack can be wired up for count up, count down, and reset, but it also can be wired for timer start, timer stop, and timer reset, depending on how I configure the wires on the phone jack. So I'm going to take the cover off for just a moment. You'll notice that the wires are all connected there. These are set up as a timer. So I'm going to put the cover back on. I'm going to plug in my cord, and I'm going to press the green button, and now it works as a timer. The red button works as a stop, the blue button works as reset. So I press start. Now if I press the start while the timer is running, it freezes the display, so this is like a lap count. And then it continues to run, continue where it left. So it freezes the display so you can see the lap time, and then it continues again. So the stop, and then the reset. So now I've connected this up as a timer. I'm going to disconnect this cord, put it off to the side, turn this over, and now I want to demonstrate a different kind of keypad. So I'm going to plug in to the RX422 jack on the back of the display. I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to plug the other end into this keypad. This keypad here generates serial data output. I'm going to plug it in. Then I'm going to press reset, start. Does exactly the same thing as the other keypad did, except now this start works a little differently. Each time I press it, it goes run and pause. Now the mode button switches between counting up and counting down. So now it's a countdown timer. Now it's a count up timer. I can run and pause it. This also has a scorekeeping function, and each time I increment the value, the score increments. So I can increment the left and right scores, and press and hold the reset button. That sets the score back to 0. It also has the time of day clock function, so I can set the clock and use it as a time of day clock. So this has several additional functions. Okay, I'm going to leave this connected. I'm going to turn the display back over. Now I want to connect up another device. This is a red, yellow, green unit. Green means timer is running, yellow means it's getting close to the finish time, and red means the timer has reached 0. So I'm going to plug in a Cat5 cable into the RX jack on this red, yellow, green unit, and connect to the TX jack on the display. So this is going to generate data out to the red, yellow, green display. I'm going to turn it back over, and now I'm going to press the start button on the keypad, and the green light comes on. I press it again to stop, and the light goes off. Now I'm going to turn this to countdown mode. I'm going to set the timer to 1 minute. I'm going to press start. The green light comes on. Now we get into the yellow time, with a warning time, and when the timer gets to 0, it's going to end up stopping. Okay, now I'm just going to leave that run for a bit, and while it's running I'm going to talk about this device. This is a DB9 to RS422 interface. So it has a Cat5 connector on one side, it has a DB9 on the other side. This is useful for connecting to a Crestron system, AMX system, RCI system, or any computer, so that I can send serial data from any of those devices to operate this timer. So I can start, stop, reset, set the preset time, and any of the other functions. Since it has both TX and RX jacks, I can send data from the computer to the display, or I can send data from the display back to the computer. Now we'll notice our timer reached 0 here, so it turned red and stopped. So what I want to do now is I'm going to turn this over, and I want to unplug the power first. And I'm going to plug in the keypad. And I want to plug the keypad into the TX jack on here, and I want to connect the RX jack up right here. Now I don't actually have a computer connected to it, so when I plug it in, nothing's going to happen because I don't have a computer connected to it. But if there were a Crestron system connected to it, I could operate this unit in the same way as I'm pressing buttons on this keypad. Or I can directly set any value on the display through other serial type commands. So this is allows us to hook to any kind of equipment, and that's covers all the basic features of the connections for this device.